All right, on this tape, I want to clarify two things that I didn't do the last time. I'm not going to talk about blood clots because that's an ongoing situation for me. And I wanted to clarify how the port tube goes up through the jugular vein and then down into the artery or something down in here. It doesn't go into the esophagus, like I said, but they put it down here and then it goes up through these veins into the jugular, down through the artery, is what I think it is. On April 28th, 2015, I got this from the oncology department at Cleveland Clinic. It's, what is it, the Purple Heart Award. So I was injured and I passed the test and completed my chemo. The last time I talked was finished up with the port. That was the first part of January. And then I did say that I was cancer-free January the 28th or 29th when I was in the clinic for pericarditis. Now I want to introduce you to Pac-Man. Pac-Man is the name of the radiation machine that I had 25 radiation treatments. The doctor at the Mole Center Cleveland Clinic said he never had a patient ever do anything like that, name the machine Pac-Man. Well, the week before I had asked my oncologist what does radiation do? What does chemo do? What does it do to the cancer cells or the cells if you have any? Well, it was explained to me that the cancer cells get irritated by the chemo and that the radiation kills them or eats them up. So I saw like Pac-Man, you know how Pac-Man goes like this? So that's why I called him Pac-Man, because he ate up all the leftover chemo that I had. Another way that I kept my humor up was in the movie Jaws, if you remember the chief, when he was throwing out the chum line to bait the shark to come to the top, and that's the same thing that the chemo does. It baits the cancer cells to expose yourself or come to the top. But that's my way of saying it in layman's language and words. But that's how I got a kick out of it. If you watch that video, he's throwing out the chum, which is the stinky old fish, and then the big Jaws comes up and bites it. So that's what chemo does, and the radiation eats it up. My first radiation and chemo treatment was January the 20th, which was, I think it was a Tuesday. Anyhow, I had four more radiation treatments because I had one a day for every week, 25. I got to rest up on the weekends. The January the 27th, which is a week after that, that's when I had that pericarditis. I thought it was the 28th, but the 28th was when I was released from the hospital. Everything was going good with the radiation and the chemo, and I like to talk to the girls and the ladies, the nurses, and the doctors about. They ask how I was feeling. They take your blood, check it out, and they look at you. Everything was going fine with me until my 20th radiation treatment, which I had read up on, and even the chemo treatments, the people were saying, if you haven't lost your hair by X amount of chemo treatments, you probably wouldn't lose it. Well, I was just a later matured person. I don't know age-wise when I'm going to mature, but during the radiation and the chemo treatments, I was into the triple dose chemo before I started losing my hair. Anyhow, after radiation treatment number 20, I started getting very bad pains down through my esophagus when I would eat or try to swallow water or food or my pills at night. Sometimes at night it hurt so bad I almost started crying because it was like screaming. I'd take my pill and it would catch right here. Well, I would put my hands up in the air like you do with a little baby when a baby's choking to help the food to go down. This is what I was doing many nights. It was terrible. Finally, I found Evian water, which was, I could drink that and swallow my pills with very little irritation. So I got to the point where I wasn't eating very much and I didn't drink much water, so I got dehydrated. So I had to go in there and have them put bags of fluid in me. And finally, my oncology nurse, I loved her. She was so good to me. I'm not going to say her name because I haven't asked her permission to use her name on this, but I'm in there and I'm having this, dehydration, and I'm getting the bag full of fluid put in me, and that's what the port's for. They use the port for that. They put the chemo in the port. Any shots you need to go into the port. She says, "Man up already. It's going to burn you and it's going to hurt. Just go ahead and go for it." I says, "Okay." So after that, I just started following what she told me, which helped me go and continue on. Plus the song from Rodney Atkins, "If you're going through hell, keep on going." I used to listen to that song every day to help me go, because I didn't know what was I going to expect. I couldn't find out stuff where you can read about people having pain, but until you experience it, you don't know what the pain is like. Well, I finished up with the radiation on February the 24th, and here's my, certificate of graduation or completion. And all the assistants that handled the radiation, they all signed their name, and the doctor, and maybe I shouldn't have showed their name on there, but when they set you up to go into the radiation machine, they GPS you. I got a little tattoo here, one here, and they line you up with lasers. You have to lay still when you go through the radiation. It takes 15, 20 minutes sometimes a little bit less. I don't know, why it would be less, but, that's how the doctors, they come up with these prescriptions. And I enjoyed that. I never had a tattoo, which I forgot when I was in when we made that last video, but I do have 3 little spots about the size of you just dot it with an ink pen. So after I went through that radiation pain with down in my esophagus, because all my radiation was concentrated here where my cancer was for my esophagus. What? You can talk.
19 minutes.
So far, I've been talking 19 minutes.
What do you have left?
Oh, well, the battery's running dead. It never fails that the phone's ringing and the battery got 19 minutes left. I wanted to talk for 3 days. So, anyhow, going through the radiation, you got to go through it. If you got a cancer like I had, where they got to keep burning it out and cutting it out, and instead of they got to make sure. You just got to keep an attitude like I had. Okay, Pac-Man, do your thing. I used to put my hand up and pat it, and it was like giving it the power to do something for me. Imagination will help you. You image it. I imaged Pac-Man eating up all the cells. So then I had another, when I got done with the radiation and the chemo, I had to wait a few weeks. I forget what it was, 6 weeks, I think. Then I had to go into what they call this triple dose chemo. They gave me a shot of Neulasta, anyhow, it's this shot, and it's supposed to help increase your white cells, because when they give you this triple dose of chemo, it just eats up everything, and your white cells go crazy. They think it's being invaded. Your body starts overworking itself to heal, and they didn't tell me the symptoms of this shot when they gave it to me. They said, "Oh, you're going to feel aches and pains in your joints." Okay, that was a Wednesday. Jean was going to go to Las Vegas that Saturday because she had been helping me so much, and her mom and dad were just put in a nursing home, and her mom had a stroke a few months before that, so she's running back and forth with them, trying to take care of me. And I says, you got to get out of here. You need a vacation. I really was trying to explain this to people that wanted to pray for us all the time. I said, you know, my wife needs to get out of the house. Take her out for dinner. Take her out for a good night at the bar or someplace like that. You know, the prayers weren't helping, but, you know, the activity. So I decided, you know, you're going to go to Vegas. She went to Vegas. Well, the night before, this Nulastra hit me, and it just broke me down. I couldn't even walk. All my joints, aches and pains were killing me, and it's just like it was horrible. So her niece had to take her to the airport the next morning. Well, I got on it right away to what is this stuff? What do you do for it? So I mentioned it to people, and they said you have to take a Claritin a couple of days before that, and maybe a Tylenol or something. That will ease the pain, ease the effect that this does. I mean, it actually felt like when it hit, like there was somebody putting what is that thing on a turkey? A turkey baster shoving it in my back with peanut butter. That's how thick it felt and how much it hurt. Well, these were the symptoms. Okay, overcame that. So then we had to wait a couple, 3 weeks, I think. Then it was another triple dose, which this time I took the Claritin, and I didn't have any pains at all. Just a little bit of ache and pain in my knees, but nothing that stopped me from walking. I was using a walker on the first time, but I learned how to help myself. So then that was the end of that. And the next time I went in for the third one, which the doctor, when we went in there, he says I didn't need a third one. I didn't need a PET scan, which is the whole body up and down. I was clear. I didn't have to go through that. So my basic therapy with the chemo and the radiation was cut short because I was already cleared out, and they checked it through my blood work, and it took me quite a few months to get my white cells back up. They were because they were beat so bad, and my red cells up. My whites were a lot of times under 3, and you know, normal I think is 5 or something like that. And my red cells they had to be brought back up too, so I had to build those up. But basically, after going through all this pain with the radiation, the 2 or 3 weeks of really trying to swallow, it was all worth it. Because the doctors learned something from me. I learned something from going through this. And like I said before, I study all this stuff. You tell me you're going to do something to me, I'm going to study it. And that way I can prepare myself basically to relax. It's relaxing. Let the body help, and the doctors help the body. The body helps the doctors. Our body starts to heal itself before we even know it. People want to use their prayers. Go ahead and use your prayers, but you cut yourself with a paper cut. You don't even know you got it. Your body's already sending the white cells to heal it. This video isn't quite as clear as the other one, but I can get into all this other stuff later. What I'm saying is that from the 1st of January, when they GPS'd me, to the end of April, is what, 4 months? 4 months you go through it. When they tell you you're clear, boy, that's a great feeling. And I've been clear for 6 or 7 CAT scans now. I have another one in 3 months. We'll go from there. Keep smiling, everybody. I mean, why fight it? But I do have some humor for you if you want to see this humor. It was the early part of April when I said that, well, you know, I think I made it through here without losing my hair. So I read up on people losing their hair, and they said that when it comes back after chemo, it gets thicker. So then I'm going like this one day, and I have a handful of hair. So this is what that looks like. See that little bit of hair I had there? That's one side of my head. Or maybe this side was better to see it here. See, that's when I ran my hand through there. And this is the other side of my head, when I ran through my other hand. Now, don't get these blurry like the last time. So, I got my old 40-year-old Sears hair clipper, and I put that hair in the sink. And that came out real nice and pretty like this. See that? Look at that nice shaved head like a baby's butt. So that's where my jokes are. I enjoy doing this. Because, you know, I could walk outside there and get run over by a snake or something tomorrow. There's got to be a cobra, Mustang Cobra is a snake. That's what I'm talking about. I hope you all enjoy this again. It's just my way of relieving and helping anybody that's going through this. You don't have to be crying and that. And even if it gets bad, who knows how bad anything is going to get. I don't think dying is as bad as that pain I felt in my chest. But we came through that. Next time I'll be ready for it. Hope you are too.